Welcome to my Global Citizenship presentation for Communications 590-02 International Communications. Just imagine if your next door neighbor had garbage all over his lawn was overgrown. Every time he turned on his hose, rusty water came out, starts his car, black smoke comes out. Now compound that to, what if that was all over your neighborhood? What if that was all over your town? What if all of that was all over the world? This presentation is going to cover what does it mean to be a global citizen, and not just a global citizen, but a good global citizen. It will cover the awareness of issues that we need to think about, and then action that we can take as well. And so the main points to be covered will be global impact, internet connectedness, awareness and knowledge, and engagement. So when we think about global impact, it's important to know specific numbers. On November 15th, 2022, the United Nations reported that the population had reached the 8 billion people milestone. And according to the United States Census Bureau, there are over 8 billion people. And if you want to get an accurate count, you can click on any of these links and it'll tell you in live time what the population is of any given country and globally. The United Nations' very mantra is peace, dignity, and equality on a healthy planet. Wouldn't that be a wonderful place to live? And so the first thing that we need to know, if we're going to be a good global citizen, we have to know the issues. And there are all kinds of human rights issues, environmental issues, and social issues. So when we think about human rights, think about diversity, culture, ethnicity, socioeconomic status, religion, political affiliations, intelligence levels, abilities versus disabilities, LGBTQ gender issues, sexual orientation issues, environmental issues, pollution, garbage, recycling, energy, harnessing wind power, using solar energy, hydropower. How about social issues? Think about poverty, think about obesity, disease, healthcare, mental health issues, caring for the elderly, social injustices. How are we getting our news? How about our technology? What about education for all? And finally, what about war? And so when we think about all those issues, we also start to understand how we are all interconnected. And some of the broad issues to think about when we think about how we're all connected on this planet, like I said, humankind for sure, poverty, social injustices, war, technology, World Wide Web. Do all countries have access to the World Wide Web? How about artificial intelligence? How about what kind of news are we getting? The environment, climate change, pollution. How do we keep the earth clean? How do we protect our natural resources and come up with different forms of energy? And what are our responsibilities? Being aware of what's going on, but also being educated and having a willingness to take collective action as a whole, as small groups, and as individuals. And so once we have an awareness and some knowledge of the issues, it's important to make sure that people are being educated across the globe. And I'm talking about, are we meeting basic needs? Food, water, and shelter for people? Are we providing access to technology? Are we providing good communication? Are we thinking not just globally, but regionally, across our hemispheres, across regions of the world or parts of a nation? What's newsworthy? What are our responsibilities? Are we thinking nationally? Countries, nations? Are we looking at real issues, or are we looking at propaganda? And then finally, narrowing it down, whittling it down to locally, looking at our states, what are our states doing, our counties, our cities, our small towns, even our communities. And ultimately it comes down to, what is each family unit doing? Because it starts in the home. What are parents teaching their children about as far as global responsibility? And what are our schools doing to teach our students about what it means to be a good global citizen? And so once we know what the issues are, then we can finally get engaged. We can take action. And so whether you're joining or following some kind of a global organization for world peace or for protecting the environment or natural disasters or healthcare, whether you're looking regionally at hemispheres or continents, thinking about the United Nations or other international organizations, paring it down to just on a national, even with our time zones or our states or our counties. Are we helping with disaster relief, like organizations like the Red Cross or the United Way with charitable giving? You can see all kinds of commercials anymore when you turn on the TV about number of organizations that you can help by donating money and or time and resources, items that you have in your home. So look for volunteer opportunities and look for ways to donate your time, your money, or your items. In conclusion, if we all become informed citizens, and we're talking about looking at reliable news sources, get not only your local news, but your national news and your worldwide news, then be willing to get involved and do things like recycle, go clean a highway, donate items or money, conserve water, drink from the tap instead of bottled water, use a cloth diaper instead of a disposable diaper, grow a vegetable garden, donate to the food shelf or help out at the food shelf, help with Habitat Humanity. Once we know what the issues are and we make a commitment to start somewhere by asking ourselves, what can we do individually? What can we do in our own school? What can we do in our community? Once we decide to recycle, conserve, pitch in, help out, and donate, then we can do our own part to start. So I'd like to thank you for watching. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me at the information on your screen. And finally, there will be a couple of slides that talk about some resources here and some references that I cited. But otherwise, I'd like to thank you for your time. This is Mary Donahue Stetz. Until next time, over and out.